Have you ever been stung by a bee?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
But you're not allergic.
No, I'm not
You
allergic.
just lied
I
because
just
you're a
lied.
pussy.
Wait, have you been stung by a bee?
Yeah, it
does.
hurts really bad. I got stung by a wasp once under my armpit. It was the most painful thing ever.
Oh.
Besides,
How did that happen?
Besides GERD.
Were you trying to
when I
capture it
burned
with your
myself.
arm? Like, were you
I
trying
was trying to put it in a headlock. Clap like a man.
fast as you can? Clap like a man.
That always reminds me of the movie Sleepers.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
That is a
Underrated movie.
we might have talked about it on the movie app that we had, but maybe not. A lot of controversy around that movie.
Because it's a phony story.
Phony story. Lorenzo Carcaterra, who then ended up working, I don't know if it was before this or after. I looked it up online. Ended up being like writer, producer on Law and Order.
Oh, really?
I don't know, like it was like if he was there for a short stint. You know, he wasn't one of the creators, obviously, but yeah, I think it might have been after the book came out. I don't know if it was before or after.
I think True or Not, I really liked it.
It's good. It's just like, you know, whenever you have a movie, any movie becomes famous with child rapists.
Well, yo, that's what my girlfriend at the time we watched that movie together, and she was like, "Oh my God, you kind of look like Kevin Bacon." I was like, any other movie with Kevin Bacon in it, you could tell me this, but this is the one where you tell me I look like Kevin Bacon.
Oh my God, you do only look like Kevin Bacon when he's raping kids. Oh yeah, that's true. There's something like the glimmer in his eye that matches yours. Only when he's raping.
Yeah, Footloose Kevin Bacon when he's jamming or when he's fighting
dancing?
Tremors in another movie. Nah, you're not that Kevin Bacon.
Man, how much does Kevin Bacon rule?
Kevin Bacon?
He's the best.
I love Kevin Bacon.
He's the only guy I cared about that lost his money from Bernie Madoff. You know that? Him and his wife lost most of their fortune. Or who knows? They probably embellish it in the news, but a lot of their fortune went to Bernie Madoff.
Large penis. Kevin
I can see
Bacon has
that.
a big penis.
I can see that. He has that kind of build. Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of see a little bank shot of it in the movie Wild Things.
Oh, right. But sometimes they do a prosthetic situation, like in Boogie Nights, where the penis is completely fake. But a lot of people thought that was Wahlberg's.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think Kevin Bacon's a pretty method actor. He's not going to use a fake peep.
Yeah, for Wild Things.
Yeah, he's not going to use like a fake half
De Niro gained, what was it, 90 pounds for Raging Bull, and then Kevin Bacon gains 90 pounds of penis for...
Yeah, yeah, Christian Bale's almost fucking killing himself to lose a bunch of weight for The Fighter and win an Academy Award. And Kevin Bacon's like, yeah, I'm in this, like, you know, sexual rom-com. I'm going to get a fake dick for this.
Basically this movie version of a CW show, but with middle-aged people. Wow, that was huge. That was the type of... that was also the time... I do want to come back to Kevin Bacon, though, because Tremors is probably one of my favorite things ever. But... you ever notice this about like things like Wild Things? Like it was from a time, it was 98, I think, or 99, and it was around that time. And it was from a time where you could make people would get psyched about movies like that. I don't know if it was just because of the age I was in my
boobs.
early 20s.
It was a boobs movie.
It was a boob thing, but also that would not now. Like the movies have changed so much, that would never come out now. They wouldn't. Just like I said a while ago on the podcast, and I do. All what's going on with streaming has killed Richard Gere type movies being in the theaters.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's like these either these thrillers or these, if it's not horror based thriller, if it's like legal thriller or like a John Grisham adaptation or something like that, you don't see it as much in the theater.
And those are some of my favorite kind of movies to watch. It's
I
some of the
loved it.
most rewatchable movies.
Yeah, they're really fun. Like the movie like Primal Fear or something like that, or
with Ed Norton.
Yeah, who he I think he won for it.
I think he won an Academy Award.
He won an Academy Award because that movie's not as good as. You know what's that's
Does it not hold up?
It kind of is better on rewatch, to be honest. It's a better movie than at the time. I remember thinking it wasn't that great, and then like he was the only standout. Which, based off the nominations, I think that's why I thought it, because the movie wasn't nominated. I don't think it was just him.
Yeah.
But he was like new, and I think he was like hot in Hollywood. It was like a political thing. But what I was gonna say is like. Yeah, you're not going to see. It's such a sea change in what goes in theaters now, because literally, like all right, the story that's coming out this week about Ant-Man and how like they go, oh, you can see the difference between post Endgame, the movie Endgame, or whatever it's called, the last big one, Endgame. Post that movie, Marvel movies just don't operate like the ones before it. People just what they're realizing, I think, is people love that cast and they love that storyline and that world. And those Avengers movies, those would be the big ones.
And now it's just a full-blown cash grab. I saw the new Ant-Man.
You did?
Yeah.
And you didn't like it.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine. All those movies are always going to be fine.
Supersaturate that stuff. Yeah, you can. And a lot of people that I talk to are like, I'm done with the Marvel. Fans of the Marvel movies are like, I'm done with it. I'm like, I'm not done. I don't chase it down like I did.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. Like Endgame and pretty much everything before it, 80% of those movies I was there opening weekend.
Right. Like first Iron Man to Endgame. Once first Iron Man blew up, you were like, oh my God, I got to be in the loop with this.
I will say this too, like this is something going back to Wild Things that doesn't really happen anymore is movies where the whole selling point is a famous celebrity gets naked. Like, do you remember Swordfish? Remember that was the whole thing with Swordfish?
Halle Berry's boobs.
Yeah.
Which was a huge deal. Yeah, you're right. And it's because, I think it's because, what would we blame? Porn?
Porn, maybe.
The legitimacy of porn taking over. Like I think we talked about this. The guy who was in my college dorm at Manhattan College, he was on the floor. And this is like 96.
Yeah.
So like a different world. And he came in with a VHS cassette of just Swordfish type scenes just strung together that he just edited himself with 2 VCRs at his house wherever he was from in Westchester or something, and he had an hour of just like every 80s like Revenge of the Nerds, like the vagina shots from there or the boob shots from there or just one of the guys where she shows her boobs in that one.
That's pretty innovative though.
It's super innovative for 96, but man, oh man, the access to these things. When Mr. Skin came out, then now it's like it's a short Google search away. But I think also the access to porn has also made people go, oh, I don't care. Also, the rise in the legitimacy of porn and the lowering of what a movie star is. Because Halle Berry, like those people are so big back then. You're like, it's like seeing like a god get naked or something. You know, like it was.
I remember how much of a big deal they made about how they made such a big deal about what she was making financially for that movie just to show her boobs.
Right, they would pay them a lot of money, yeah, because they knew people would go see it just for that reason.
Just for that, and they did.
Absolutely, and it was. I remember seeing it. I didn't even go at the time. I've never seen Swordfish. I've just seen the clip.
I saw it with my dad. It was awesome.
I told you I saw Lethal Weapon 2 with my dad. No, it's I actually don't mind seeing boobs with my dad. I didn't mind that.
Me either.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw most of the boobs with my dad for about 10 years. He was my source of boobs.
He was your boob dealer.
Yeah. Well, we used. This just came up recently. Yesterday, I was at my grandfather's for his 87th birthday, and my brother used to steal his, as he calls it, smut movies, because my grandfather taped he had like VHS tapes lined throughout his house for like he loved movies.
Right.
So what he would do is he would go to the grocery store when you could rent movies from there, the new releases, he would burn them onto a VHS and then he would rent them out to his friends.
Like the DVDs?
No, this was VHS tapes. This is even before that.
He was copying VHS tapes?
Yeah.
Wow.
He got rid of most of them, but he had like 1,000 of them. But this also included,
this is your grandpa.
Yeah, this also included porn. So my brother stole them off of him. Then I stole them off of my brother, and these were like, where you can't even see private parts because there's so much hair.
The Bam Chicka Bam Bam.
Yeah, Bam Chicka Bam Bam. So we did that, and that came up because my brother was like, "Hey, you still got any of them movies?" He's like, "No, you probably stole them all." My grandfather said, like he knew the whole time.
Well, there used to be a magazine called Smut. It was like called Smut.
Oh.
You know what's so funny about that? Do you think how like kids that are like millennials and Gen Z, like they can't watch regular movies from the 80s because they're like, I'm just taken out of it. It looks too old fashioned.
Yeah.
Or like maybe people my age with like some black and white movies or something from the 30s. Do you think people have that with porn where it's like
Oh yeah.
I know I do. I don't think I'd be able to watch like I think it just looks comical at this point.
I'm really weird about porn, and I don't watch it nearly as much as I used to, but I'm weird about, like, I could get thrown out of it super quick. Like, if a dude says something weird, or you know what I mean? Or like she's like the girl in it is, I'm like, her acting's so bad.
Let me ask you two questions
she's not
about
enjoying it as much as she's saying.
About the time that you'd be watching this. Are you a planner? Are you a masturbation planner? Are you setting up the room? You're making sure you have X amount of time. Are you and then you're watching? Are you like watching a good portion of a movie, or are you a skip around clip guy? Because I'm mostly a skip around clip guy.
I'm both. I'm a special occasion. Sometimes like I really want to, like, you know, if I'm by
light a candle.
If I'm by myself and I'm like on the road and I'm, you know, I need to show myself a little bit of attention.
You want to pamper yourself?
I'll make it a long sesh. But most of the time it's just
you take yourself out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I treat myself. You know? Hey, I realize why I love me. I find myself. I give Stella his groove back, so to speak. But
give Ray his sway back.
How Ray got his sway back. He watched 15 minutes of porn.
Of a graphic pornography.
He said graphic. But most of the time I'm just stressed out and I got to get the venom out. And that's just a quick.
Right. It's more a fundamental, or like
it's like fucking blowing my nose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a longer sneeze.
I know that sounds crass,
No,
but it's like kind of like I got to clean the pipes. I'm gonna have a bad day.
I know exactly what you mean, but I do have to let it build. I have to let it build up a little bit. I don't find myself. I think it's age. I think I'm not going. There's certain times where it'll be like an everyday thing, but I think I'll skip days. You'll skip days?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember I was like every day at least.
Yeah. I'm not going to continue this because I know my girlfriend listens to the podcast, and I don't need her knowing my regiment.
Okay, well, stop. We can edit this out. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm not going to edit it out. I leave it all in. But what I realized is we've done a lot of episodes of this podcast, and this is the first one that we didn't start off with a hey Ray or a hey Sean.
It's true.
And I kind of like that.
Is it the dawn of a new era?
It could be, because this is our 1-year anniversary show of the Brand New Jerks, established February 17th, 2022. Why do I know that? I'm not going to tell everybody what our password is. But it is the anniversary, and one of the things I wanted to start with, but sometimes you just get into a Kevin Bacon penis conversation and things go awry.
We're movie guys, Ray.
Is we started this podcast because of one thing that we had in common. And it's that we have extreme people pleaser tendencies. And I just want to know, a year of doing this podcast and talking it out with me and probably your therapist.
Yeah, very much so.
Do you think you are less of a people pleaser?
What if I said yes right now just to please you?
Then that's a loss.
That's a lot. Am I? The short answer is, because I said we have to answer this question before the episode we're talking. Yes, the short answer is yes.
Really?
I think so. But here's the thing. I think it's one of those things. It's almost like where if you watch an old tape of yourself doing stand-up from about 4 or 5 years prior, and you're like, oh, my God, I'm so much more better now than I was then. I think if I heard myself, I think I went back to early podcasts, I think it'd be minuscule, but I think I'm less of a people pleaser now. I'm not saying it's in strides. I have a lot of work to do.
Sure.
I was talking about it in therapy today. So it's not a leaps and bounds type scenario. It's a baby steps. But I do think this has helped me. I think talking this stuff out ad nauseum once a week has helped me out. How about yourself? Do you think you are do you want to comment on me saying that? Or do you? How about this? Let me ask you this. Let's do this both ways. Do you notice me being less of a people pleaser now, or do you feel the same? But we see each other a lot, so I don't think we can notice a difference.
We don't notice the change. Well, I almost said hands down no.
About me?
No, for me.
Oh.
Personally, I'll get to you in a second.
Okay. No. Go ahead.
I'll get to you in a second. Okay. No, but what you said, I think I agree with. I think I have grown a little bit to where now I'm recognizing it a lot more when it happens, whether I'm doing something about it or standing up for myself or like setting a boundary or making a harsh line is a different story. But at least I'm noticing it more, and every once in a while I'll try. But I still find myself in situations where, I'm at a restaurant and there is an issue. I'm just still letting it go. Like it happened to me this past weekend.
What happened?
Like I got like me and Natalie went out to dinner at this place. I ordered a steak that was supposed to have like a couple of fixins on it. A little bit of blue cheese.
I love a fixin.
I love a good fixin.
Roy Rogers used to have a fixins bar.
Roy Rogers stinks.
I'm sorry, what? Are you being serious right now? Roy Rogers fried chicken?
We might be thinking of a different Roy Rogers, the place that's on the side of the highway.
Now, back in the day.
I never
Now
had
it's
it
a
back in the day.
shell of what it was.
Now they just have chicken sandwiches that have been sitting under a heat lamp. For
Right,
fucking
that's different.
7.5
That's
hours.
road stop
It's
Roy
not good.
Rogers. It's not good. No, I'm talking like some of the best fried chicken you'd ever have back in the day.
But it doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist.
Fuck.
And people love the roast beef sandwiches. Anyway,
What was in the fixins bar?
I don't know, like lettuce and tomatoes and.
Oh, that ain't a fixin.
I'm
You ain't ever seen Eastbound and Down?
no,
When what the fuck is it? Danny McBride keeps going, yeah, we're gonna have a fixins. We're gonna have a bunch of fixins. He kept saying it like that. But
So what was they're supposed to have a couple of fixins on this steak? On the steak or
it
on
was
the
supposed
side?
to, it was supposed to have blue cheese crumbles and like sautéed mushrooms.
Okay.
So it comes out, doesn't have any of that. But I know that it's the same price. It wasn't a price. So I was just like, ugh, I'm just gonna eat it. And
But you wanted the blue cheese and the
yeah, of course.
right.
That's why I ordered it.
Yeah.
And Natalie's sitting across from me, and I was just going to eat and just live my life. And she goes, weren't you supposed to have stuff on that? I was like, yeah, it's not a big deal.
You start crying.
And then and she's like, well, we're going to get it. And the lady's walking past, and she's like, hey, everything okay? And it's a different lady than our regular waitress. And then Natalie's like, no, it's not okay. He's supposed to have mushrooms and blue cheese on that. And she goes, oh, okay. I'm so sorry. She goes back. They bring me just the mushrooms. And then the lady.
What restaurant was this? So you can.
It was this place called Navarro's. It's not like a real. It was just in the area, but it's like an independent Applebee's almost.
Okay.
And then they come back with just the mushrooms, and I'm just like, I got half. I just got to count my losses.
It's a win for you.
Yeah, and the lady comes over. She's like, "Hey, everything good? Everything okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's per." And Natalie just interrupts me. She's like, "Nah, I think you're supposed to have blue cheese with that too." And she's like, "Oh, fuck, I'm so sorry."
Right.
But here's the thing that I learned: they didn't hate her because of it.
No.
They weren't even mad. And yeah.
Yeah.
But see, she's better at finding, because I think I put so much pressure on myself and I get so hyped up on it that if I do say something, it's not going to come out right.
You think it'll come out like passive aggressive?
Because I'm so not well versed in it.
But you're not gonna start screaming at them and
Yeah.
become a male Karen or something. And they're like, I want some goddamn blue cheese and some goddamn mushrooms.
I need some mushrooms, bitch. You know,
Does that look like blue cheese to you? I see just mushrooms on my plate.
putting her face in
Are
it
you
like a
fucking
dog.
blind?
Yo, why did you just channel? Why did you just channel
Eddie
Chris
fr-
Penn?
He's fucking blind. He goes, up at the side, out of the fucking blue, to not put blue cheese crumbles on my steak.
Yeah, that's gotta be a character on the podcast.
Yes. Chris Penn at a restaurant.
Nice guy Eddie.
No, yeah, nice guy Eddie in different social situations.
Oh my god.
Nice guy Eddie getting a parking ticket. Nice guy Eddie
So funny.
not getting his blue cheese on his steak.
I've never been ticketed in this area in my life. That you're just gonna fucking out of the blue.
I was in the store.
side.
Yeah, I'm in the store for 2 minutes. I come out of here out of the blue. There's a fucking ticket in my car. A fucking blue.
Man, is that
He goes,
good?
why don't you tell me what really happened? It's like his face just distorts in that scene.
The better pen.
I don't know about the better Penn. I
No.
would say Sean Penn.
Sean
Well,
Penn's
there's also
phenomenal.
it's a Penn off because you have Michael Penn as well, who did he composed for movies, but then he had I forget the name of the song. We go, what if I was Romeo in black jeans? What if I was Heathcliff with no hair? Maybe she's just looking for someone to dance
Is this
with.
a deep cut from Seinfeld?
It's like a 90s
or-
song that was
oh.
huge. Like
I never
early
heard
90s. Yeah, it's It goes, I forget it's called. I always thought it was called Romeo and Black Jeans, but it's not. It's called like Somebody to Dance With or something. But that's their brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Everybody fucking has some tie. I was just realizing.
Nepotism.
I have never gotten a job in my entire life where I didn't know somebody that had the job. Or that I didn't know somebody. I've always had to know somebody to get every job that I've ever had in my life.
I had only one of those. Two of those. One was a teenager, and then I quit 6 days in. And the other one, I got fired 6 months. 6 months into it. That was the last job I had before I did comedy.
What job was that? Was that the
advertising agency? Where the lady hated me. The lady, she at one point she told me I was trying to steal her job, and then I told her, I do stand up at night. It's a 9 to 5 for me. I'm
not trying to steal your job. I don't even want my job.
Exactly.
I'm good on this.
Exactly. But anyway, so
did you know somebody at Baskin Robbins?
No, I just applied and got it.
Oh, see, that's
when
crazy.
I was like 16. But I could. That's the one where I've told you that ice cream cone.
Yeah.
Story. And I was like, once again, like such a wimp at. Not that I'm not a wimp now, but at 16, that I was so overwhelmed. My dad went in and quit for me like a week or two in or whatever it was.
That's the best.
I
can't wait to do that for one of my kids.
Yeah.
If I ever have kids, I'll be like, hey, just let me know when you want to quit because I got some rage to get out.
I'm going to take out some shit on some people.
My brother quit a dishwashing job, and when I actually think my brother did go in to get, no, my mom went in to get the paycheck for him, and they were like just talking shit on my brother to my mom. My mom had to be like, hey, just give me the paycheck. They were like motherfucking him and like saying how bad of a worker he was. And my mom was like, yeah, dude, he's 14. He's 14 years old.
I was like grown-ups just say.
Yeah. Well, people were talking about how bad my work ethic was.
It's one of those things where you could be like, this is why he quit. Don't you realize
that's it?
This is a toxic environment before people used the word toxic to describe stuff.
Well, my dishwashing job that I had that I quit after like 3 months, there were like other people there talking about how unprofessional I am and how bad it was that I quit. I was like, I got pubic hairs last year. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fucking kid.
That's a funny idea.
I'm a little
your first
boy.
Job, you're like, I still have toy trucks that aren't put away yet. I have action figures that I'm still interested in of making them fight. And you are worried about me being some sort of young professional or something, coming in a suit to wash dishes at your stupid restaurant. I think that's people's MO because they it's immature people who don't see the difference in a teenager working at one of these places. Like, wherever you hear you're working, it doesn't matter. Or the same people would be like, I started working at 10. I do that job at 10. And it's like, so you're amazing, you're a genius, and you're still at the same job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, your parents were poor. That's why you had the job at 10. So were mine.
Also, let's not pretend that anybody wants to take any job. No, people, jobs like that, nobody wants to actually work.
No, fuck no.
That's why I took 2 trips to get your mushrooms and your blue cheese crumbles because they don't. The minute they left that table, they didn't care. But I wanted to go back to that for a second because you brought up a good moment, a good people pleasing moment. How many times in your life must that have happened when Natalie was not around? Where they're like, everything good, and it wasn't good? Because I'm the same way. Like, is everything good? And I'd be like, yeah. Happened to me at the diner. I was at the diner over here at Neptune, which I usually love, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But I could have been like, hey, man, I didn't want potatoes. And part of the reason I didn't want potatoes is because I didn't want to eat the carbs. You know, I do that thing with the...
But if they put it in front of you.
Put it in front of you, you just start chowing down on potatoes. And you know me, I love potatoes.
Yeah.
So if you know Sean Donnelly, so I said, all right, so the guy was like, I was saying the thing slow, and I'm like, so no potatoes, rye toast, bacon, eggs, and a black coffee. And the guy was like, okay, so no potatoes? The guy repeated it twice, and it comes out with potatoes. And sometimes you'll get a waiter or a waitress that'll go, oh, they put the potatoes on there. You want me to grab it? And then you'll be like, no, it's fine, which I would have done. But he just went like, here you go. And I almost feel like there was a beat where he realized the potatoes were on there, and he was like waiting for me to say some shit. And I was like, because it doesn't really affect anything. Like,
no.
Believe me, I pick my battles when it comes to that because I'm such a plain eater. Like, if shit's touching my I'm like a 4-year-old. Talk about being a teenager or a kid. Yeah, you know how bad I am. So if it was like something else that I really had to be like, hey, man, I've made up that I can't have onions and stuff because of heartburn, which actually is not true. But I've gotten like cheesesteaks and I've had onions. I've had one. I don't like onions like that.
I don't like them either.
And I've said, oh, I can't have it because they had to like remake it. I'm like, no, sorry, I asked my acid reflux.
I might start lying.
I lie all the time.
That's about that. Or
well, no, just that kind of
general?
stuff. I used to tell people I used to run away from bees so much when I was younger. I would tell people I was allergic to bees because I would be like, there's a bee. I would freak out.
I think
It
I
was
don't
like-
think I don't think anybody's actually allergic
It was like a
to bees.
chubby cartoon little cherub running away.
I could die, and then you make up a story like, yeah, one time I did get stung, and I was in hospital for 4 days.
Start making shit up.
And they're like, wait, I've known you your whole life. No, do you remember when me and my family went to Wyoming?
Remember
It was then.
when the hospital bills bankrupted my family for my bee sting that I was allergic to? But also now, like, there's a special, like, my stomach drops a little bit when I see the videos of those murder wasps, those murder hornets, whatever they're called, where I don't think they can really survive here in certain climates. I think it has to be
No.
really hot or something. So they're like in Mexico and on the West Coast. But they were seeing, like, I don't know if it was colonies or little groups of them pop up. They're the scariest looking things. They're not even good for the environment. They're just a destroyer of the environment and of people. And they showed the welts people get, like the reaction from it's insane. Have you seen them?
No.
Oh, they look like a basketball team's logo. Murder hornets look like a basketball team. Like they look like the Charlotte Hornets, but even scary. Like it's that big and it's that defined. You know what I mean? Like it looks like somebody made it out of like porcelain or something. Like it's like, you know, regular bee. You're like, oh, it looks like a living thing. They're so gigantic. You can make out. Look, you're looking at an American flag. You look like a player on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It was like the alternate name for Ben Stiller's character's dodgeball team in Dodgeball. They were either the purple cobras or the fucking murder hornets.
Right, exactly. But so I see these things and I'm like, oh, I know. But almost like in my head, I'm
Wait,
like,
have you
this
ever
is how
been-
I'm gonna die.
Have you ever been stung by a bee?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
But you're not allergic.
No, I'm not
You
allergic.
just lied
I
because
just
you're
lied.
a pussy.
Wait, have you been stung by a bee?
Yeah, it
does.
hurts really bad. I got stung by a wasp once under my armpit. It was the most painful thing ever.
Oh,
Besides,
how did that happen?
Besides GERD.
Were you trying to
when I
capture it
burned
with
myself.
your arm? Like, were you
I
trying?
was trying to put it in a headlock. I was like, "Come on, motherfucker! You want some?" Yeah, it stung me.
I was playing WWE with the
Yeah.
wasp.
Well, first it hit me with a leg drop, and then I had to put it in a headlock.
It just first into that blinding of the face thing they used to do back in the 80s. Oh no, but that's what I mean. Like whenever you hear about those types of animals, and you're like, okay, I guess I just won't go to that place. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm like, I really want to go to Australia, and I'm saying like 20% of the reason might be because of that tiny jellyfish you hear about. You know that tiny jellyfish that can like murder you in 6 seconds?
I'm deathly afraid of jellyfish.
Of stepping on one. I think I stepped on one when I was younger, but I think I don't think it was as bad as it could have been. I think
I'd say that's a top 10 fear of mine. Jellyfish.
like stepping on one or
One
one of
biting
those.
me.
What?
One getting me.
Yeah. Or you mean like one of those giant ones?
Yeah.
Well, those I think have to be like deep in the ocean.
I've seen them. There was a bunch like out to shore once when we went to the beach in Florida, and it was something happened where it was kind of doesn't happen all the time. It's like once every like 5 years where they all like are on like right on the shore, and like nobody was in the water when we went on vacation to this place.
Because they saw them.
You could just see them floating in the water for the most part. I was like, not a chance. We're swimming at the pool all week.
Right. Where
Yeah.
was this again?
Panama City Beach.
Dude, and were they like pink?
Yeah. Pinkish.
And were the lifeguards like nobody in? Nobody's
No,
let in?
you were allowed to go in.
But everybody was like, we're not
And
doing it.
everybody's like, no, yeah.
Did they look menacing? Like while
Yeah, they were fucking snarling at me. They were showing me their jelly teeth.
did one of them have a switchblade?
Yeah, that was the Puerto Rican one. Yeah. Switchblade.
That's crazy. But I'm talking about even the other ones where it's like the tiny one from Australia that apparently I think you can barely. It's like pretty small, and that one gets you, and you don't get treatment in like 45 minutes, you die.
You're an animal facts guy. You like looking up stuff about animals.
No, I think I just know little things. I probably should be looking up more than I do because I am interested in it.
I look up nothing.
I look up. I told you all my stuff's like mafia. Maybe not. I'm not searching on animal things, but you're not. Maybe not wrong because apparently there was a giant squid they found in not a river but a thing in Portland. There was one swimming around like a rare giant squid just like hanging out in one of their like I forget what it's called, like a wading pool or whatever it was.
Yeah, you're a curious boy.
I am a curious boy.
You are a curious boy.
Well, you know me. My biggest topic is UFO stuff, and then I got into my whole hauntings, like ghost stuff. I got into. There's too much of that, and I don't. But here's the thing: my theory on that stuff is, I think it's all based off of like. I think in 50 years we'll have physics reasons of why that stuff happens.
I need
like
to
paranormal.
Read more.
What?
I need to read more.
I don't read. This is all me looking at.
But you're at least reading on the internet. The only things that I look on the internet are like scrolling through Instagram, watching TikToks, porn, and I'll do like look up stuff to buy.
You ever do this on TikTok? you ever see a girl on TikTok and like, oh, like you see the one TikTok and you're like, oh, that's just a normal hot girl that's like dancing in her room, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you go to her account, you're like, oh, she's an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
At first, you almost have this like,
hey.
oh, it's a girl next door. And then you're like,
this is a new age porn star.
That's kind of what the business is now for them, where it's like, how much can you make it look like you don't do porn? And then out of nowhere, they're like, go to my Instagram for my secret link. And you're like, oh, yeah, of course. But I don't have that mindset. I'm just thinking like, oh, just a girl. Because everybody does TikTok now anyway. So you're like, oh, this is somebody who likes doing TikToks and she's young, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Do you ever see like Jerry O'Connell getting 1 million views on a TikTok and you're just like, fuck you, get off of here. This is for me to try to get a lottery ticket to get famous. Get the hey Rob Lowe, quit fucking making Instagram reels.
Well, they're career-minded people. They are.
Shut the fuck out of here.
Well, I did his show when he had his own talk show, Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, really?
Did I ever tell you about that?
No.
I was in a sketch where he had to massage me. He was massaging me on a massage table.
Nice guy, I heard.
He is a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Wait, did I tell you this story already? Where
no, tell the story.
We're acting in the sketch. I just played like the lighting guy, like blue collar. I was bigger. I was like probably like 60 pounds heavier, and I'm on a ladder at one point. I come down and I talk to him off the ladder, or whatever it is. In between takes, this is like a bullshit sketch for his talk show that never got picked up. It was going to maybe be after like Wendy Williams or something.
Yeah.
That was still a thing. Couldn't have been nicer of a guy. At one point, to the point where he goes, in between takes, he goes, any notes, Sean? Any notes? I go, I'm sorry, what? I go, he goes, any notes for the scene? Any notes? And I go, no. What are you doing? Why would I? First off, it's your show, and I'm not a real actor. And I maybe didn't know that, but I think he knew I was a stand-up because a friend of mine booked me for the show. But he couldn't have been. He was really cool the whole day.
Yeah.
But think about it. But I think he has a positive outlook. That guy. A lot of people shit all over that guy. I feel like
they do.
I like him.
Me too.
And first off, he's in one. People. It should be like he's almost like the new Guy Fieri, where people hated Guy Fieri, and then Shane Torres did that one bit, and he's like, "Why do we hate this guy? He's
so true."
Why do we hate Jerry O'Connell? He was in Stand By Me.
I think people are jealous and intimidated by somebody that has such a positive outlook to the point where like sometimes you don't trust it. Like I know I've been in situations where you're in public and the cashier working at a deli or at a fast food place is like, "Hey, how are you today?" "All right." "Oh no, the chicken nuggets? That's my favorite, actually." "All right, have a wonderful day."
And immediately we're like, we should have.
Well, I remember there was one time me and my brother got ice cream from this place, and this older guy was so nice. He was like, "Oh, hey, enjoy those. You're going to love them." And we're walking away, and my brother was like, "Oh, man, that's rough." I was like, "What?" He's like, "I think that guy's retarded." I was like, "No, Mike, I think he's just nice."
He's just happy.
Yeah, he's just happy. And then my brother's like, "Oh, God, Mike's like, what is wrong with me?"
My mind doesn't go there, but I'm cynical enough where I go to Essex Market by Megan's house in the Lower East Side. It's awesome. And I get this one place called like Cafe Van or whatever it's called, has like the best chocolate chip cookie ever.
You tried to get me to go there and they were closed.
Yeah, oh, right. Okay. Anyway, it's this fancy bakery. It's not cheap, but I always go for the cookie. It's $4 for the cookie. I just buy it. But it's amazing. I will get one day. Anyway, there's this dude that works he works the counter, but he does a lot of the coffee. And one day, I've met him before there. Like, he works there, always smiling, always happy. And I'm behind this woman, and then she rattles off. He comes over and he goes, "Are you gonna get the?" And she rattles off her order, and he goes, and like almost like joking around, he like prays up to the heavens, like does like a cutesy like heaven pray thing, and then goes back to the other counter, grabs the drink, and hands it to her. Like it was her drink. He already made it. Like he knew her drink because he was a regular, and he made it, and he was like making a little sketch thing out of it. And my first thing was to be like, "Ugh, you fucking cornball!" like it was the first thing was to be like, "Oh, you believe this guy?" And I thought about it. I was like, "No, he's just trying to have fun at his like. He's behind this little counter for 8 hours. He's just trying to have fun." And then every time I'm in there now, he's always super cool. He could not be nicer. I go, "Dude, the best cookies I've ever had." He goes, "I've had 4 today." Like, he's like playing,
Yeah.
He's lying, but he's like, "I know what you mean." And he's always happy no matter what. Now, yeah, could that be a phony thing? And could that be a delusional thing? And he's really sad inside? Maybe. But chances are, who's sadder? The phony comic you see out and about or on TV or whatever it is, and they're just miserable inside? Or the guy who's kind of accepted, like, "Hey, yeah, this is my gig and it's fun. I'm making people happy." And I think at least part of him's like that, and he knows he's at work. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
I envy that, actually.
I totally
when I
envy
think
that.
about that. I would like to be more like that myself.
100%.
I mean, whatever gets you through the day. I mean, I'm not going to go full last episode Collins post-apocalyptic, whatever keeps you from loading a revolver and going to the post office.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, I mean, I've had jobs that I didn't care for, but I would try to make the best of it. Like when I worked at the concession stand at the museum. I told you about this. When I used to lie and tell people that Kevin Bacon was there and they'd get all excited. I'd be like, "You're never going to guess who's in the theater." Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon's penis is right in the theater.
Kevin Bacon rock hard.
He's taking a shower, like from the scene in Wild Things, in the
he's
the
theater.
theater.
Doing a live reading of Wild Things.
He installed the shower on the stage.
In the nib.
Yeah, but you like had fun with it. And also I think age comes out with that. Like when the less responsibility you have, the more fun you have on these things. Because I've mentioned the Blockbuster thing where I would like ask people quiz questions, and if they got it right, I wasn't supposed to. I scanned a free rental of these coupons we had in the drawer, and just like gave away tons of free rentals because they were like
That's theft.
I know it's theft, but it doesn't matter. They're fucking gone.
Stealing from Blockbuster.
But I had fun with that, and I had fun. Like the guy who was my manager had fun at that job, and I used to work at the library in high school, which is, I know, probably shocking sounding, but and I had a blast on that job. So yeah, I think it's how you approach things.
Yeah,
I think we also mentioned it recently because I mentioned Bert Kreischer, right? Like, were we talking about that? Not
I think
on
so.
the podcast.
Maybe not on the pod.
That guy, it's so funny because he's like, looks wise, and like you would think it would be very similar, me and you and Bert Kreischer, because like big drinker, kind of looks similar, do comedy.
Yeah,
but I think he has like a workout, a 80s workout lady, motivational speaker.
Oh, that's true.
Inside of him, that is just has a really positive outlook. I actually do think that guy's happy.
I think the idea of brand new jerks going forward might not necessarily be I mean, I think there's positivity that's needed to be less of a people pleaser. Because if you have a positive outlook and you're a happy-go-lucky guy, you're never gonna because I always worry about being seen as an asshole. I don't think you're ever gonna be seen as an asshole if you're just in a good mood like that guy that's fucking selling cookies at the Essex Market. No,
and I will say this: I'll be completely forthcoming. I watched that Bert Kreischer stuff with that guy from the bakery, and I'm like, I do want that. Like you're saying, I'm envious of it because I do think I let the trials and tribulations of how hard show business is to make me have judgments about people in my head.
Yeah. And
then I'm sitting there and I know it's probably oozing out of my pores when I'm around them. And I'm probably I'm either being too quiet or I'm being short with people or I'm having a couple drinks. When in actuality, I should just be like, "Hey, how are you, man?" Like have nothing against you whatsoever, or hey, yeah, I'm excited to go do this spot, but it's such a hard business, and it's like, and one of the things comics love doing is commiserating, so it can add to the. Don't get me wrong, I have my moments, I have fun at times, and we love to complain and vent, but overall, I think it's like waking up and going out and being like, I'm going to be positive all day because I'm alive, is probably a goal of mine. I would love to have
It's the
that
way to
happen.
go.
It's the way to go. It's the way to go.
You know what happened to me?
But sorry, but I'm just one more
go
thing.
ahead.
A genuine one of that. A genuine.
Yeah, but I think you got to fake it a little bit till it's genuine.
What do you?
I was just rubbing my finger on that. I just wanted to touch something a little bit.
You got to fake it till it's genuine.
Yeah, I think you got to fake it till it's genuine and kind
That's a
of.
good point.
And you got to kind of do things to bring positive energy back into your life. And I think sometimes what I do is the first step is I'll try to do something nice for somebody else.
Yeah.
Even small shit, man.
Yeah.
Like even just calling an old friend that you haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah.
Calling him, hey, what's up? Just seeing how you're fucking doing, man. And I think that's something I need to start doing a little more, and just putting good energy back in, because it's like anything in life. Whatever you put in is what you get out.
Yeah, because it can't hurt. Messaging something positive on something online, or calling somebody. Because you're right. Because like I said with the negativity, I had a realization recently where I realized like there's friends of mine that I call from back in the day that like never call me.
Yeah.
And I'm always the one that I'm always the one that starts those conversations, like calling them up or texting. And I'm like, or if they call, it's like it's very, very rare. And part of me was like, maybe I just shouldn't do that anymore. I'm like, maybe they have no interest in. But I don't think that. I think people just get busy, and I think people don't think of certain things.
And sometimes that's your job for right now. And then maybe some point in the friendship, they're going to be the ones that are calling you.
Maybe.
I think
That's a good point.
My first instinct is always cynicism.
Same here.
It sucks. And I had that like this past weekend, I did a show on Saturday at this theater, and like it went well. And like I had fun on stage and I did well. And for some reason, I'm in the car driving back and I'm like not in a good mood about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it was. And like it was like I just only wanted to talk about the couple negatives that there were with the show or with the night. And I'm like, I just got to change it. I don't know why I'm in this fucking mode. Yeah. And sometimes you just can't get out of that. And I don't really know how.
I'm the same exact way. And I also think that I'll embrace it. Like, because you actually did that before we started talking on the podcast. You told me a couple of stories. Yeah. I think from that show. And it was that same type of thing. And I do the same thing. I look for the negative. Don't get me wrong. Not that I don't have positive moments or positive days. But there's something with stand-up where I'm like, I'll look to like talk shit immediately because I think it's like part of it.
It's not cool to be positive in stand-up sometimes.
Not at all. No.
And which is like, fuck that.
I know. I think maybe it's like, I think to fake it until you are the positive guy. Because if you tell yourself these positive things and you're like, you're going to do these things positively, or you're going to, even if it's on your own terms, it's like, hey, I don't even know how to approach it, or even how we're talking now about it, where it's like, just trying to think of it through that lens, I don't see it not changing over time, especially if it's consistent. I don't see it not changing. You know what I mean? I don't think I'll ever be, like we said, the guy at the bakery, and maybe I shouldn't even say that because, like, I don't know. I just think it's, I don't know. I don't think it's part of me. But once again, I'm being negative about me getting to a point where a guy who seems truly happy, but I don't even know what his story is. You know what I'm saying?
It's like my instinct is to make fun
perception.
of him. My instinct is to make fun of that guy.
Same here. That's what I meant.
What the hell's wrong with that guy?
Exactly. That's immediately what I thought. And I was like, what am I doing? You know?
I went to Cracker Barrel yesterday on my drive, and I already know that I don't really like Cracker Barrel, and
I've only been there once in my life.
It was not like a great experience, but I'm glad we went, and I was a little bit like annoyed and miserable with like the food and like the atmosphere. It's just weird. And Natalie was having the time of her life, just laughing hysterically, just thinking the situation's so funny that we order this food and they bring it out this like plate of slop and gruel that is too much food
and stuff.
One plate would have been too much food for the both of us, and it was like $9. She's out. She fucking bought a mug there.
Oh, is that what they're known for? Was that her first time at a Cracker Barrel?
No, she's been there before. She just thinks it's really funny. that it exists. She's outside sitting on a rocking chair. She bought a mug.
She realized how to have fun in that.
That's what I'm saying, and I think that's something that I envy. It's something I think we got to strive to do more in life, is to find something that's like, look at, Gary Goldman. Do you remember when he did his one New Year's resolution is he was going to give a tip about stand-up comedy every day for a year.
It was great.
And one of his
did he do the whole year?
He did the whole year.
Wow.
And some of them, like, I didn't read them all.
Some of them are great.
But some of them I was like, that's cool. And that's cool. Some of the things, like, you're like, I knew that, but like, man, I should really incorporate that into what I do as a writer. But he was talking about writing, and he said, what I try to do with a joke, and I think me and you even talked about this, is Trader Joe's. I have a joke about Trader Joe's. Everybody has jokes about what's lame about Trader Joe's, what they hate about Trader Joe's. It's like, fuck that. I like it. Talk about what you like in something.
Yes, that's a big one.
It's easier to shit on something and to make fun.
Yeah. And it'll make you stand out, and you'll know you have a hot take on it if you're saying what you love about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you, I don't think I said this on the podcast. I told you something else I wanted to bring up about my little phone call I got from my father. Sort of. I had like a
You
mini.
didn't tell this story yet, right?
I don't think I did. I had like I told you about it the next day, and you've been great in like being a friend who's like went through like losing a father.
Yeah.
So it's like been nice to like talk to you about it, whether or not you care to talk about.
I absolutely do care.
Hearing me babble about my daddy.
I absolutely do.
Well, I appreciate that.
100%.
But it's a thing where like, talking to somebody there, it kind of like makes you feel like, okay, so these feelings they're gonna last forever, but it's gonna get easier.
It dissipates. It not dissipates. It dissipates means it goes away. It's a new normal. That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
So I had this thing like right after my dad died for like a week, I was texting his phone still, and like talking to him, going through this like the same grief thing you would go to if you were just talking out loud. If you were somebody that believed in, God or a higher power. Me, I just believe in Verizon, and I know that exists. Maybe somehow
your higher power is 5G.
Yeah, that's a strong enough tower to reach the afterlife.
It's like that Norman bit with the Wi-Fi in the church or whatever it is.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, he's like, I believe in Wi-Fi more than he's like it's a higher power that actually works or something like that. I forget what it was.
That's good.
It was from a long time ago. Anyway,
so I was texting him, and then I didn't drink for a month because of GERD.
Right.
I have some drinks, and I'm a little buzzed up. I'm thinking about my dad because I think some fucking shitty country song came on at a party I was at.
If drinking don't kill, or it's Cat Stevens.
No, it was "Live Like You Were Dying." Not even joking. Tim McGraw. So I just text my dad something like I said something like, "Sorry, I really miss you." That's all I did. I'm in the Uber driving, like headed home, and my phone starts ringing, and I look, and it says "Dad" calling,
which would freak anybody out,
especially
because you thought it was going into the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm shaking, like I'm like what? How is this? And like after I'm like, nah, it's not him calling me. I'm like, okay, maybe it's my brother who still has his phone, and I answer, and it's this Mexican dude with, and I don't mean to be.
It's Jesus. It's Jesus.
Jesus Christo. But he did, and I don't mean this. I know this is gonna fucking come off the wrong way, but he had the most stereotypical fucking bad guy in Next Friday voice, where he was like, "Hey,
Smokey,
who is this?" And I was like, "Man, I'm really sorry, dude. I'm drunk. This was my dad's old number. I guess." He's like, "Oh man, sorry to hear about your dad, bro. I just thought you were one of my crazy ex-girlfriends." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I had the thing where I hung up, and Natalie's there, and she sees it, and she's like, "What was that?" And I'm like laughing at first. I was like, "Oh, just some Hispanic dude who got my dad's phone now." And then I just bawled. I just start crying my eyes out.
Well, it's a little bit of closure if you're like, think about it.
Yeah.
The number's gone. Yeah, yeah.
But then I find out, and I didn't tell you this part, my niece, who isn't, it's my sister's kid, had a pretty good relationship with my dad and knew, like, my dad hated feet. My dad was like my dad's bug.
Opposite of a foot fetish.
Yeah, he thought they were disgusting. So she would periodically send him pictures of feet whether it was
Just
her
to- just
feet
to
or
mess with
other
him?
random feet just to mess with him. So she was missing him recently, sent him a picture of feet, sends that dude, that random guy in Kentucky, a picture of her feet because it's a Kentucky phone number.
Oh, is that where he was? He was in Kentucky or wherever.
That's
he
where I
was.
assume because it was a Kentucky number.
Yeah.
So my dad moved back to Pittsburgh from Kentucky and sends him that, and he's like, "Hey, this isn't that same guy's phone anymore. Don't send me any more preteen's feet."
It's like a lane with the 212 number.
Oh yeah.
Gammy? It's like Gammy's dying. All right, Gammy's dying now. Goodbye. And they break down the door.
Oh, that was a fucking funny. That was like
Yeah.
one of the best Elaine things.
Oh, it's so good.
But can you imagine getting you're like all excited about your new iPhone, and then you just got some fucking drunk dude calling you crying, telling you how much he misses you. You
weird.
got a fucking 12-year-old sending you pictures of her little kid feet. This guy's like, what?
Oh, is
the
she 12?
fuck? Yes. But she wasn't sending it any creepy. She was just sending it
she
like,
was
fuck
messing
you,
with him.
Paul,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But she was missing him, and she was like, "Oh, I used to do this," and it's just I don't know. It was
That's hilarious. That's the weird
Crazy.
shit stuff that happens from these kind of things. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, you crying comes out of you being like, oh, that's the thing that's an aspect of this that's done.
now his
I
number's
can't-
gone.
Now his number's gone. And
Unless
there was
I
a
develop-
connection that you had.
Unless I develop a father-son relationship with Jesus.
I also, my one question would be, I wonder what you were texting him that he thought it was the ex-girlfriends, where he's like, remember when you used to take me to the park? Or, I don't know what it would be. I forget what
I said something along the lines of like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I really miss you,"
Yeah, okay.
and I
okay.
said something like that.
Okay, so it's like along those
Yeah.
lines it makes sense.
No, I wasn't like, "Hey, Daddy, it's been so long since I've sat on your lap." Hey, Daddy, it's been so long since I sat on your. Well, I used to call my dad Daddy, not in a way of like
No,
Daddy.
we did. I never called my dad Daddy. I would call him Daddy to my siblings and my mom, or
Oh.
we still do it with my mom. We say, "Mommy, we have to go to Mommy's house for blah 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 blah." blah. Like, and then, but when I'm saying to my mom, I go, "Mom, hi, Mom, how are you?"
I called my dad Daddy because he was extremely homophobic.
Oh, just to mess with him.
Yeah, I would be like, "Hi, Daddy. Hey, Daddy, how are?" He'd be like, "All right, dude, get the fuck out of here."
Well, I'm glad that you're
I know.
moving on there. Kid.
I'm whole.
I
I'm
mean, you're not
whole.
moving on. You never really move on. Like I said, it's a new normal, but it's a good thing to go through. It's also good to have like a good cry like that with this type of stuff because you're like me. You're not doing it otherwise.
Well, it was harsh, and then I called my brother at like 1 a.m,
Yeah.
and he was like, I talked to him the next day. I was like, "Dude, I didn't mean to call you at 1 a.m. on a Sunday, all fucking drunk and sad." And he's like, "No, dude." He's like, "I just couldn't understand what you were saying." And then he's like, "But how funny would it be if when you answered the phone, it was just Dad? Like, dude, would you stop texting me stuff? You're getting all weird on me. Who you like this weekend? You think the Chiefs are gonna beat the Eagles?"
Before we get out of here, can I ask you one? We got a long, supersized episode here. We can try to do an hour even.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna bring back to a movie thing that I want your opinion on because it's actually, I know my answer is. There's a clip that went viral of Spielberg walking up to Tom Cruise. Did you see it?
No.
So it's basically, I don't know. This is paraphrased, but it's basically Spielberg walking up to Cruise at some award show or something. I forget what it was. It might have been a premiere somewhere. It might have been lunch, whatever it was, and basically telling him, "You saved the movie business. Like, look at you. You." He goes. He didn't say it outright, Maverick, but he's like, "Look what you did." He's like, "I honestly believe that you saved people going to theaters, or you saved the movie." What he's implying is that Maverick made people realize Maverick will dictate other movies going to theaters for longer, or making movies like that, so that that aren't Marvel. I think is what the implication was. Even though I don't think Spielberg has a problem with Marvel, I just think that being like, "You saved our business," like everything was gonna be streamed, or it was just gonna be Marvel or horror in the theaters, and because of Maverick, that single-handedly that changed it. I think it's true. I 100% think if Maverick wasn't, I think you would see a weird change with the movie business if Maverick never came out. If that wasn't made and put out the way it was, and
I wholeheartedly agree.
Okay.
I think that it like, I mean, we talk like all of our friends went to see it in the movie. I saw it multiple times in theaters.
I saw it once in theaters, but I saw it another time on the plane. But
And I just remember we were all like, holy shit, dude.
Oh,
Movies are back.
It made me a Top Gun fan. It's the first time. It's like, how many times, like we said one time on the pod, when a sequel is better than the original, and this is like, that's an understatement when it comes to this movie.
Oh,
it blows it away as much as that plane blew away the 8Gs, 9Gs, whatever it was.
Nice,
Nice.
dude.
Good analogy.
That's sick.
Anyway.
Talk to me, Goose.
So, I honestly believe that AMC and Regal and all these, any kind of survival they have is based, even if you do it percentage-wise, I would say 20% on the actions of Tom Cruise and bringing that thing and agreeing to do it.
Man, they like, as much as when we talked about it a little bit at the beginning, as much as I love those Marvel movies, man, they're tired.
Well, they wore out their welcome. So they have to be reinvented. That people know, they know the tricks of the trade now, and nobody. That's why.
It's like the only way to succeed is to be a franchise.
Right, but that's also why. Like, I think Maverick resonated with people because you had some unbelievable movie stuff, but it was within the realm of like, yeah, but I'll just suspend disbelief right now. And the people who tell you he would have been soup by 8Gs, whatever, or 7 or 6 or whatever, and it's like, yeah, but you know what, like. But it's a movie where it's based in quasi reality, and it's a thing that people haven't seen. It's like this. It's comfortable as well as like it's the perfect amount of nostalgia with it being its own thing at the same time. If you have more of those that aren't just the DC or Marvel, yeah, you'll have people go to the theaters for those types of things.
You think so?
Yeah, like even if it was different franchises, but you did it right. Like another Alien comes out, they do it right. There you go. Like, people will be blown away. You know what I mean? Look at the Ghostbusters one, and they're coming out with another one. That Ghostbusters reboot was actually, I don't think that got enough credit for
I didn't watch it.
It was great.
With Paul Rudd?
Yeah, it was great. Same kind of thing. A little bit of nostalgia, the rest just a
But its
solid
own thing.
and different than the other ones.
What, like, let me ask you this. This is, we're running out of time here, but do you think that you or I will live in an era where movie theaters no longer exist?
If this was a year and a half ago, I would have said yes, and it would be like in the next 3 years. Not even. No. Maybe I wouldn't have said that because you cannot. The business is big enough, and they have so much power in the movie business. That's how they make their money. A lot of these movies. So if the movie theaters don't exist, the movie business doesn't exist because they are it's going directly to the theater owners, and that's why that's the whole theory. Not theory, it's the truth about why when people go, "Well, you got $7 for a thing of Juji fruits or a thing of snow caps." That's why. That's how these theaters make their money. Because they're showing the theater and they're making everything else popcorn. That's how they make their money.
I don't mind it.
You don't mind
I
what?
don't mind paying what like
movie theater. I don't mind it.
I am. It's
part of the experience at this point.
It's my favorite. I would say top 3 favorite things to do in the entire world is go see a movie.
I'd say it's it's probably my favorite thing to do. Like I also whenever I walk into a movie theater, I'm always like, it's like so comforting.
The magic comes back.
Yes, 100%.
And my mom was. I went when I was back home. I took my mom and Natalie to go see Ant-Man, and we like sat in one of the Dolby baller ass theaters in AMC with like the recline seats, and we were getting snacks, and my mom's like, "No, I'm not letting you guys buy me a $5 water. I'll just get a cup." I was like, "Get the water bottle." She's like, "No, I don't want a $5 bottle." And I'm like, "It's part of it. I came here
to do this
knowing that I'm getting ripped off.
Right.
I don't mind, spending it.
But also knowing the fact that that's how it's not really being ripped off if they're making either minimal or zero money from the movie.
True.
So it's like, I don't mind it at that point. I didn't know that fact until about 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was. So
I kind of assumed it.
Oh, I just didn't know that. I thought they were just charging it because they had you captive and you couldn't bring candy into the theater.
Oh.
We used to sneak candy in. So
we sneak beers in.
I don't like drinking I can't drink during movies.
That used to be my day off move. I would call off on a Friday. I wouldn't get hammered. I would call off on a Friday, and I would go see whatever new movie I really wanted to see. I would go early in the afternoon by myself, pay extra at this one Lowe's to sit in like the comfy seats, get a beer, some snacks, and just fucking watch a movie. It was the best thing ever.
It's great. Let's get out of here, bro.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Uncomfortable
awkward handshake.
Handshake.
It's been a great year.
It's been a great year. It's been a pleasure, pal.
Hell yeah.
And we became better friends from doing the podcast, but we have minimal issue. I've never had an issue with you.
No, man, we're bros.
We're good. Yeah,
We've even shared rooms together.
that's what I mean.
Next week, back to guests. We got a very special guest. We'll start teasing it, but you will tune in.
But check us out, Brand New Jerks on YouTube. Our friend Ray has been starting to putting full episodes up on there, so you can check that out.
Full episodes.
Make sure
We
you
have 3
subscribe.
full episodes out there right now. Our episode with Matthew Broussard, Colin Chamberlain, and Sean Murphy. Those are all out there for your consumption. Also, the shorts are out there.
And follow us on TikTok.
Brand New Jerks Pod.
Email us, brandnewjerks@gmail.com. If you have a people pleaser moment, or you want to just talk about, a situation that involves you being a people pleaser, or you wish you had more assertiveness, and but this has been a blast. Thanks,
Find
guys,
us separately at Shawnee Time
Yes.
on Instagram. I'm at Ray B. Killing tonight. If you're in New York City, your boy Shawnee Time is at the Comedy Cellar hosting a show, and then also my regular monthly show at Lucky Jack's. Happy Baby Comedy is back, and that you can always find links to that on my social media.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.